Welcome to the Listen Up Girl podcast. I'm Zach Randles-Friedman, and I bring you LGBTQ plus news as quickly as I can and often as needed. I'm giving you stories that are shaping your world, from politics and pop culture to equality and resistance. Today is Tuesday, October the 7th, and let's dive into today's headlines. Bowen Yang once again proved why he's one of Saturday Night Live's sharpest and most fearless performers. During this weekend's Weekend Update segment, Yang appeared dressed as Dobby, the beloved big-eared house elf from Harry Potter, to take a hilarious yet pointed jab at J.K. Rowling and her history of anti-trans remarks. House elves are always somehow the problem, Yang joked, even though we're only 1% of the population. But house elves aren't the victim, Master Rowling is. The audience erupted in laughter, but beneath the humor lay a powerful critique. Yang's sketch highlighted how Rowling's public comments have continued to harm trans and non-binary fans of Harry Potter universe, a franchise that once offered them belonging and magic. It wasn't just a comedy bit, it was a cultural statement. By reclaiming one of the Rowling's most recognizable creations, Yang transformed satire into solidarity. And that's reported by NBC and The Advocate. Next, the Supreme Court to hear challenge to conversion therapy ban. A major legal showdown is brewing that could have devastating consequences for LGBT youth across the United States. The Alliance Defending Freedom, or ADF, a Christian conservative legal group known for opposing abortion and same-sex marriage, has petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Colorado's 2019 ban on conversion therapy for minors. The law prohibits licensed mental health professionals from attempting to change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity, practices widely condemned by the American Psychological Association and the American Medical Association as harmful. ADF is representing a woman who claims the ban violates her religious and free speech rights. The case, Childs versus Salazar, argues that therapists should be allowed to discuss faith-based approaches to sexuality. But here's where things get troubling. ADF cited research from multiple scholars to back its claims, and two of those experts told The Guardian that their work was profoundly misrepresented. These studies, in fact, warned of the psychological damage caused by conversion therapy. If the court agrees to hear this case, it could open the door for states to roll back existing protections for queer and trans youth nationwide and potentially re-legitimize a practice long recognized as psychological abuse. And that story was reported by The Guardian. What is really sad here is that these people want to take their faith-based approaches and try to convert people that were born gay or that were born trans, and they think they can change them. What I think we should be doing is going and taking away all these tax deductions that these faith-based organizations get and make them pay taxes, because what they're doing is horrible, and I don't agree with them. So why don't we take that to the Supreme Court? Next story is Texas Megachurch pastor pleads guilty to child abuse. In a shocking and deeply disturbing case, Robert Preston Morris, the founder and former senior pastor of Gateway Church, one of America's largest megachurches, has pleaded guilty to 5 counts of lewd and indecent acts with a child. According to Oklahoma's Attorney General, Ginter Drummond, the abuse began in 1982 when the victim was just 12 years old. Morris, then a traveling evangelicist, was staying with a girl's family in Oklahoma. The abuse continued for 4 years. Now 64, Morris entered his plea as part of a deal requiring him to serve 6 months in jail, followed by a 10-year suspended sentence. He resigned from the Gateway Church last year after the accusations resurfaced publicly, ending decades of a high-profile leadership within the evangelical community. For survivors and advocates, this case underscores a broader crisis within religious institutions. where power and faith are too often used to shield perpetrators instead of protecting victims. And that was reported by NBC News. So let's just back up for a moment and take a look at this story. This man, who is supposed to be speaking to Jesus and representing this huge megachurch, abused a 12-year-old girl, 12 years old, for 4 years. So at her age of 12, 13, 14, and 15, she was sexually abused by this man. And he only got 6 months in jail for this? He should have been put away for the rest of his life. Next, Congressman targets Netflix over trans-inclusive cartoon. In a bizarre new twist in the right-wing war on queer media, Tennessee Representative Tim Burchett says he plans to summon Netflix executives before Congress, all because of a transgender-inclusive cartoon that hasn't even aired since 2021. The show in question, Riddley Jones, is a children's animated series that celebrated diversity and gender expression, including a character with 2 moms and another exploring their non-binary identity. During a recent interview with anti-LGBTQ broadcaster Benny Johnson, Burchett agreed with Johnson's false claim that Netflix is showing pornography to children, calling the program propaganda and indoctrination. He then bizarrely blamed both the Chinese and the devil for allegedly encouraging kids to be trans. The cartoon was quietly canceled 3 years ago, yet the outrage continues, demonstrating how misinformation is weaponized to attack queer representation in media. Netflix has not responded to Burchett's threats, but LGBTQ+ advocates warn that these political attacks are escalating in tone and frequency, aiming to censor inclusive storytelling rather than protect children. And that was reported by LGBTQ Nation and Variety. And you know what this person is doing? This person is just giving more promotion to this show called Riddley Jones, an animated series on Netflix, and he's making people want to go out and watch it because people are curious about it because he's brought it back in the news and it's been off the air for 4 years. I'm going to go watch it tonight just to give it more ratings, and I hope they keep it. Next, queer Congresswoman Emily Randall takes on ICE detention. Freshman Representative Emily Randall of Washington State has wasted no time making her mark on Capitol Hill. The openly queer Congresswoman joined the House Oversight Committee earlier this year, determined to hold the Department of Homeland Security accountable for what she calls war on immigrants. Randall's home district includes Tacoma, where one of the country's largest ICE detention centers sit, a facility criticized for unsafe conditions and inadequate health care. Since arriving in Washington, D.C., Randall has made detention oversight one of her top priorities. She's pushed for investigations into alleged abuse, longer detention times, and deaths in custody, and she's urged the administration to explore community-based alternatives to detention. For me, Randall told the Seattle Times, this isn't just about immigration, it's about human dignity. Her intersectional leadership as a Latina, as a woman, and a queer lawmaker represents a growing wave of progressive voices fighting for compassion, transparency, and reform. And that was reported by the Seattle Times and the Washington Blade. And my last story of today is so disappointing because I woke up to my social media this morning and I have friends that still live in Miami Beach, and I actually seen live videos or videos from yesterday of this happening. So Miami Beach Rainbow Crosswalk removed without warning. A story that's hitting close to home and yet to the heart of the LGBTQ+ community in South Florida. Miami Beach's iconic Rainbow Crosswalk on Ocean Drive, a vibrant symbol of pride and resilience, was removed without warning on Sunday morning. Crews dismantled it brick by brick while stunned residents and drag performers looked on. The Florida Department of Transportation has not provided a full explanation, but local officials say the city wasn't even notified beforehand. City Commissioner Alex Fernandez blasted the move, calling it a waste of taxpayer dollars and an unnecessary erasure of something safe, beautiful, and embraced by everyone. For many locals, the crosswalk wasn't just paint on the pavement. It was a statement of visibility and belonging. Drag performer T.P. Lord said, "This represents blood, sweat, and tears. It tears my heart to see it go." The original installation outside the famous Palace Bar became a gathering point for drag shows, protest, and pride celebrations. And though the crosswalk may be gone for now, the spirit is symbolized remains unbroken. "They might take this away," Lord said, "but they didn't take away the love and memories we built here." And that was reported by NBC Miami and the Miami Herald. Again, this is all DeSantis's plan, where you can't have anything that represents any diversity or any LGBTQ plus, any Black or any Latin, nothing. He wants nothing like that out there. And he got what he wanted in Miami Beach. Very sad. That is my news for today on Tuesday, October 7th. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to tune in later this week for more LGBTQ plus news.